Hello and welcome to Startup Champions 2.0, the show where you meet and learn from National Startup Award winning founders. In the show today, you will meet two startup champions from the drinking water and energy space. They are VGOT and Zunru. Water. 71% of our planet is water, and yet we don't have enough to utilize for drinking and industry. It's critical that we save water. This is not just for you or for me. It's for the coming generations too. Water is becoming a limited resource and hence it's becoming costly too. The rising water bills in urban spaces is a clear indication of the times to come. And not just that, have you ever had no water in your colony? And you've had to buy from private water tankers? Is someone building a tech-driven solution to this problem? Well, yes, there is somebody. Our startup champion is doing exactly just that for you and for me both. Let's now see the VGOT story.
When people tell you save water, you don't have an actionable insight. It's just words that come up. How do you actually start saving water? Using data. And this data is not readily available. And this is what VGOT does. We provide an end-to-end water management platform. We focus on multi-tenanted buildings. Residential buildings, commercial buildings, industries, educational institutions, malls, hotels, hospitals. Any multi-tenanted campus is a potential client for us. What we do is we deploy these devices in all of these buildings. We get granular data information about how much their consumption is. We're able to detect leakages and give you real-time insights about where you're using water. With this, now you're able to understand what your usage today is, if there is a leakage, what your maid used last Tuesday. Any granular information that you need about your water infrastructure is also readily available on the platform. Our goal is that we want to get this in as many houses or as many buildings as possible. More people use it, more water is saved, and that's our vision. Today, we're able to do projects all over the country. We have a lot of concentration in Chennai, in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, in Bombay, in Pune, and in NCR. We're now starting another fundraise where we're looking to expand globally.
So Anand and Abhilash, welcome to Startup Champions 2.0.
Thank you.
Let's quickly jump into your product itself, right? You are fundamentally saving water, and that's the need of the hour today. Let me now, hand you over your products, and why don't you actually tell our audience as to how does VGOT really work, and how does everybody that uses VGOT, whether in residential or commercial spaces or individuals as well, they save money and they get benefited.
Let me ask you a very simple question. How many liters was your shower this morning?
I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, and without that, it's not realistically possible.
Sure.
Right? There are several such use cases where people don't know how much they're using, and we enable this using technology. And at the core of it is a device that captures information, but we make this easily usable through a mobile app that we have.
Okay.
And let me show you the app.
Sure.
So as soon as you launch the app, every individual gets their individual consumption. You can find out how much you've used in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the master bathroom, how many of different inlets that you have. You can compare against your yesterday's usage, your last 7 days, your entire month, how you place against other users in the same community, how you place against other users in the overall VGOT Aqua universe. So this will first give you a benchmark of where you stand, and it helps you understand what you can do better. And then the second thing about water is also that it's perceived as a free commodity.
Sure.
Electricity, by default, everybody puts a lot of value on because you get big electricity bills, but you don't get that. So as soon as you start billing people, you make people more conscious of the product. So we also generate a bill, and you're able to make payments as well. And thirdly, our system is like a constant watchdog, right? If there is a leakage that happens anywhere, we're able to detect it, we're able to pinpoint where the leakage is, and we send you this notification to you, so you can take better action,
Wow.
a quick action.
Interesting. And that's what VGOT looks like.
So this is the device that captures all the data. So water meters have been around for a very long time. It's not something that we've built, but what we realized very early on in our early deployments was that the data that comes out of these water meters are not very accurate. And fundamentally, when the data is not accurate, it is very difficult to get someone to pay as per.
Sure.
So that is the first problem we had to solve. The other thing you'll also notice on our device is that there is no counter on top.
Sure.
This is a strong message that we're sending out. We're saying that, hey, you don't need to come here to get any information.
Right.
It'll all come to you remotely on your mobile phone or on your web application, depending on what user access you have. So what we fundamentally did to get the accurate information was we flipped how we capture data.
Yeah.
We don't have a turbine anymore.
Sure.
We use a principle called ultrasonic.
Uh-huh.
Without getting too technical, what this essentially means is we have two piezo elements. Think of it as a receiver and a transmitter. We know what the diameter of this pipe is. We know the distance between these two elements. We calculate the time difference in nanoseconds that it takes for water to go from point A to point B.
Sure.
And this will give you the exact volume of water going out.
Got it. Let's now talk impact. Your product can be installed at an individual house, at a residential complex, a commercial complex, and the scale could just sort of go on and on. Let's try and understand what actually has it done till date, across all the installations that you've done. How many liters of water would you have saved? Do you have any number around that?
Sure. Before Abhilash shares the big numbers, I think the key thing here, just finishing on the last point, is freshwater source, the source is so less and the demand is so high. So I think what we got, the first thing we need to do is reduce the demand for water, fresh water, right? While there are new technologies which could be working on creating more fresh water, but our goal is to reduce the demand. And like Abhilash rightly said, it's through giving you real-time data in terms of how much you used in your shower, or billing you as per consumption and you're more conscious, or third is detecting leakages and then letting you know in advance. So that is I think the larger side. So there are many sides to water, but ours is to reduce the demand. Two, in terms of I think the success in adoption of this has been slow, but just to give you the large number, I think 5 billion liters of water have been saved so far.
Yep.
So let's understand your business model, right? How do you make money?
So when we built the product, we've built a lot of features. We built a lot of applications for pain points, for people in buildings, for the facility managers, and we want this to be easily adopted. So what we've done is we've also gotten smart with the business model. What we do is we give the product away for free. We don't charge for the product.
Okay.
The client pays an implementation cost, like a setup cost. Somebody has to come, cable it, whatever is needed. Just pay that, and then there's a monthly subscription fee. And this monthly subscription takes care of any service, any part replacement, extended warranty, and we're not your water meter suppliers. We are your water management as a service solution provider. So we aspire to be in that building for the life of that building. And we've made it very affordable. It starts as low as 75 rupees per device, and depending on scale, depending on your application, goes all the way up to about 1,000 rupees per device.
Fantastic. The world fundamentally is changing into everything as a service now, and that's the model. All right, my last question to the both of you is millions of Indians are watching you right now on Startup Champions 2.0. They want to be entrepreneurs like you, and especially problem solvers like you. What's your message to all of them?
I think one big message is there is enough problems out there to solve, but the key is to get down to doing it. You can keep thinking about it, doing it, and for example, Abhilash and some of his friends who thought about this problem, and Chennai, everyone knows, has had acute water problems always.
True.
And they were very clear. So the two things, one is to have clarity and one is to get down to doing it. The clarity they had, I think, is we want water and technology to work together, and two is get down to it.
Get down to it. The top two lessons of the session are: number one, saving water and increasing efficiency in water delivery and measurement is a massive business opportunity for all of you. Number two, you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. Imagine building a layer of value-added services over existing infrastructure, or use IoT as they did to make existing infrastructure a lot more smarter. What if I told you you can save your electricity bills massively? If you heard our next startup champion. To know how to do that, meet me on the other side of this break.
Do you think the politician's stereotypical perception has changed in this journey of yours?
Definitely, what was earlier and now what is today has a vast difference. Even if you see the education profile, the social background and many other things in Parliament, where there are more than 900 members, many are on their own, without family background, without muscle power, without money power, without caste benefit also. But if you have a passion, if you have determination, discipline, dedication, and if you are ready to improve yourself every day.
Welcome back to Startup Champions 2.0. Sunlight is free. Converting it into energy can almost make your electricity bill free too. Solar energy tech has matured over the past 5 years and now it's ready for mass adoption. The challenges with solar have always been quality of solar panels, the battery optimization for energy storage, and end-to-end service. But there's a whole new space of IoT being added too. All of this and much more has been sorted by our startup champion. Let's now see the Zanpulse story.
Back in 2016, when we were both, Sushant and I were both working our previous jobs, we started discussing what could we start of our own. And we started to discuss about every issue that an Indian consumer faces. Given our backgrounds, we were very clear that we want to do something in the direct-to-consumer space. And electricity has been a very recurring theme in our lives, and that is where we thought electricity supply and consumption have a lot of issues that we could solve with engineering. And what we chose was that we'll pick every electrical appliance in your home and we'll ensure that they work with IoT over one app called Zanpulse, and at the same time we'll ensure that you get a clean electricity in your home as well. So what you need to do is replace all your older electrical products with a smart product. Like for example, if you are using an older heater or an older geyser in your house, that is consuming much more electricity than in some cases how much you paid for buying that product, you are actually consuming more or paying more for just using it on a monthly basis. So that is where it makes sense to shift to a more efficient smart heater or a smart geyser or a smart electrical product or a smart fan, which will consume less electricity.
In the mind, it was always there. Starting from the day one, we will go more deep into the home, going more into the IoT. When the technology will mature and the things will start, and the people will start adapting the IoT technology. So that is the thing which we need to wait for. And at the time we have started, that solar market was, the prices has came down enough. So it start making for an individual house owner to adapt to the solar rooftop.
So Pranesh and Karthik, welcome to Startup Champions 2.0. My first question to the both of you is, look, your promise to the end consumer is that if we use your products, our electricity bill goes down, right? How does this happen? Tell me your technology.
First of all, thanks for having us here. There are two aspects to our startup. One is the supply of electricity in Indian homes, and the second is consumption. So the supply part, just by the very nature of how we do it, using solar panels on your rooftop, is of course going to reduce the electricity bill because sun's light is free for everyone. Sure. So whatever electricity you produce from it, either you feed it back to the grid or store it in a battery and you can use it for free. The other aspect is once you have clean electricity in your home, how do you now consume it in a smart way? So that is where IoT comes into play, which allows us to provide you a sense and control of every electrical appliance in your home. So let's start with some of the categories of product that you use in your home, right? So the first of all would be, let's say you use an AC or a geyser or a heater in your home. Sure. And these are the energy guzzlers, right? So what do you need to do? You need to know when they were switched on, for how long were they running, and can you switch them off if they overshot the time that they were supposed to run for, okay, right? That's where IoT comes into play. So we have created a bunch of smart plugs, smart heaters, smart geysers, which connect to the Wi-Fi, give you all the information on the app, and then you have a way to like remotely switch them on or off, or schedule them to go on for a certain time. So again, Karthik, my colleague, will give you more examples of how do we do this on the energy efficiency side.
You go to the home screen and you open the app, the Zanpulse app. This is our home screen. You have all the notifications on the top, and all the smart appliances that you add basically have a card for that. For the specific appliance, which is the room heater, we have a card over here. Now, once you open the room heater screen, you actually see the details around its functionality. Basically, you can actually control the room heater to turn it on and off by clicking the screen. You can do it from anywhere in the world because it's connected using Wi-Fi, right? Apart from the control, you can also actually schedule it. So we can add a schedule. If you click on this, there's an option to turn it on or turn it off. You can select what time you want to turn it on and off, AM, PM. We can keep it on or off for a certain amount of time and repeat it on a certain number of days as well.
You know, all of the IoT technology that has been built or probably embedded into these devices, who does that?
We have an in-house team which does that. Karthik leads that team actually, and apart from that, we have Sushant Sachan, who is my co-founder. So Karthik and Sushant have a big R&D team, and we have for the last 4.5 years, we've been working on all these products one by one.
Phenomenal. So all of these devices right now are IoT enabled.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Interesting. Now tell me something, since you've been talking about numbers, since you've been talking about IoT, what's the impact of actually doing two things? Number one, installing the sunroof, and second is using the Sunpulse devices. So when I say impact, could you tell us the kind of electricity that I could save, or do you have any numbers around it for your customers?
Yeah. So on the sunroof side, the amount of electricity bill that you can save, or the percentage of bill that you can save, is only limited by what kind of rooftop area you have available. Otherwise, you can save 100% of electricity bill. So for example, let's say if you consume 500 units of electricity in a month, so over the entire year, let's say you're consuming 6,000 units of electricity. You put a 4 kilowatt system, that will take care of your entire electricity bill. It will be zero. So that's the first one. Then the second aspect, which is the IoT part. Let's say if you are using your normal fans right now, and they are consuming there are 60 watt or 100 watt fans. They're consuming some electricity over the entire year. So once you replace them with a smart BLDC fan, which is a brushless DC motor fan, it will save about 1,500 rupees yearly for you on that as well. So even if you end up paying slightly more on, because it's a smart fan, you end up paying slightly more, you end up saving on the entire electricity bill. Similarly, a smart heater or a smart geyser, especially the smart heater I would want to talk about. These heaters are very inexpensive compared to, let's say, all-weather AC that you could buy for 30,000 rupees. This would come for like 1,000 rupees.
Okay.
But the electricity consumed on an hourly basis is much higher than what your 30,000 AC consumes, which a lot of people do not realize, and then they end up paying a lot in their electricity bills.
Sure.
Along with the convenience factor, where like it can make your room really warm, and it can get intolerably warm if it runs through the night. Right. That
interesting. But where does the customer, the end consumer, buy this from? How would they know? Where do they go?
Okay, so they can go to our website sunpulse.com, or they can download our app, which is available on both Android and iOS.
And they can just order it from there.
Yes, and we are available on all leading marketplaces as well, for if people find more convenience there.
Fantastic. So what's your business model? How do you make money?
Okay, so there are 3 ways we sell to our clients. So we sell our products, right? So it's a very straightforward, we make the products, we sell the products.
Sure.
We do have some subscription options which we try out in some cities, but mostly it's about like we have made the product, we want to make some margin on it, we add that margin to it, and we sell it. So we sell it directly to the customers on both online and offline channels. We are available in retail shops as well, in limited geographies right now, but we are scaling that. And then we are partnering with a lot of real estate developers and cloud kitchen owners and interior decorations, interiors companies, because customers are making these big lifestyle decisions, and that's the time when they are ready to invest money into energy efficiency of the entire home.
Sure. So this is Sunpulse. Talking about sunroof, right? So if customers actually install the sunroof, by you guys, can they also use, or let's say channelize, the unused energy back to the grid and earn money from there?
That's exactly what happens. So we do not provide batteries along with the rooftop system that we install. It's all grid tied. So we have a design delivery diagnostics model there, where the first step is when we design the system for you. So if you are looking to reduce the electricity bill, what you need to do is go to our website, just fill up your phone number, somebody will give you a call.
Okay.
That person will walk you through the entire steps, and you can go to the rooftop, take one image, upload to our app, which is the app called Sunroof app, upload the image there, and immediately the entire engineering parameters are readily available. Then when the delivery process starts, we'll come and install the system as per what you approved the design phase. And then once the system is installed, we have this another IoT device that we made for solar, which will tell you how your system is performing on a real-time basis.
Wow.
And that's the business model as well there, right there. Right? We make money on each of these 3 stages as well.
Phenomenal. That's called intelligence, right? You make money from the sun. This is fantastic. My last question to the both of you is, millions of Indians are watching you right now on the Startup Champions 2.0 show. What's your message to all of them if they want to be entrepreneurs like you?
I think technology is changing very, very fast. So, since you are working in tech, we should see like how we can use all the new technology that is available today to solve any problems of the past or any new problems that come up, as we go on. And we should try to, incorporate that to solve as many tech problems as we can. So learn around new technology, and then try to solve the problems which were not solvable earlier on.
Very interesting. So learn new tech and solve the problems that were not probably solvable earlier on. The top 2 lessons of the session are: number 1, solar energy and IoT technology has gained a level of maturity now. It's a good option for consumers and a great option for your business if you want to build this as an opportunity for yourself. Number 2, if you connect solar back to the main electricity grid, you can actually create earning opportunities for your customers. Ensure that you do this, because you might end up making a lot of money too. Fail often, that's my advice to you. It's time for a short break. Up next will be questions from the audience, that is you, and of course, answers from our startup champions. And along with me, you will take step number 24 of how to start a startup. I will see you on the other side.
The world champion of Belgium.
Welcome back to Startup Champions 2.0. It's now time for your questions and answers from our startup champions. Are you guys ready?
Yes, we are.
Fantastic, great. So please come on screen.
Hello, my name is Kashish. I'm from Delhi. My question is for VCOT. We have existing government-approved meters at home. How does your hardware work along with it?
So there are 2 ways to make the existing meter smart. We have something called a meter interface unit, where we take information from the existing meters and then we will give that to you.
Okay.
The second is the main meter, the government meters are at the entrance of a building.
Right.
We also provide sub-metering, meaning every apartment, every individual point. So you will then be able to tally what came in, and then we break it up and tell you how much each apartment or each room is consumed. So then you'll be able to tally and understand what your non-revenue water is.
Fantastic. Let's now have our second question.
Hello, my name is Akshat. I'm from Delhi. My question is for Sunroof. How long does it take to install Sunroof in a residential home?
Hi Akshat, thanks for your question. So it totally depends on what state and city are you a resident of. And the reason I say this, there is a 3-step process to install solar panels on your rooftop. The first one is to apply for the applicable subsidy in your state. Because that government is trying to promote this across the country, so why not make the best use of it, right? So that's the first step. Once you have given, let's say, you have booked an order with any company, that's the first step that they need to do. That process is different by state. It could be different in a Gujarat versus a Karnataka versus a Delhi, right? So you go through that process where you submit your Aadhaar card, PAN card, the property ownership document, because you have to own the rooftop to put the solar panels, right? So once that part is cleared, then starts our part, which is the fastest part that we can do. We usually take after the products are delivered to your home, 2 to 3 days to install the entire system. Because what you need to do is you put solar panels on the rooftop at a certain angle of inclination, facing a certain direction. So all that is done during the design phase. So we just have to ensure that the entire design part is then replicated on your rooftop. The civil works, the wiring, the junction boxes, in the entire electrical part of it is done. It's then connected to a grid-tied inverter, which converts the solar panel's electricity, the DC into AC, and sends it back to the grid. And then the third step starts, which is the net metering. Because once you have put solar panels on your rooftop, somebody needs to measure how much did you produce and how much did you consume. And that is the part where the electricity distribution company of your area comes into play. And which is where we coordinate with them. We ensure that they come to your house, replace your original meter, because your original meter is a unidirectional meter. It only counts in one direction. It gets replaced by a bidirectional meter, or as we call it, a net meter.
Very interesting. On that note, I'm hoping and I'm very sure you have gotten all of your answers and you are much more clear. Learning leads to earning. You all know this now. Let's continue our journey of learning and earning with step number 24 of how to start a startup. Unlock your time for growth projects. Extremely important. Listen to me very carefully. Founders fail because they take pride in working 18 to 20 hours a day on solving problems that others can actually solve for them as well. When you are scaling your company, you have to run the company in a very different way. Divide your company down into special projects. Each project is like a small business unit in itself. Each project has a large growth problem to solve. Each growth problem has a deep impact on the company's growth. Each special project must have one KPI to achieve. You have learned about KPIs already in another episode of How to Start a Startup. Special projects help you divide problems into small groups, allocate the right problem solvers in your team to them, and then finally move the company a lot more faster. How do you think large companies with thousands of employees they work? And they work so well. This is the exact strategy that they implement. So today you learn step number 24 of how to start a startup and make it a lot more successful. Ensure that you divide your company down into special projects, and trust me, you will never fail and become a lot more efficient as a leader and a company both. What did you learn from today's episode? Tell me more about it. Share your feedback with us, make your videos and post them on social media with #StartupChampions too. In the next episode, you will meet our startup champions from the enterprise system space. Thank you for watching Startup Champions 2.0. Jai Hind.
Looking for jobs, especially part-time jobs in rural and semi-urban parts of India.
Our initial aim was that if we are able to get our digital runners to earn 3,000 to 5,000 rupees a month through this platform, that is enough for them to have additional income on top of, which is almost 30% of their current income.